How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Beautiful people. Take a look around at all the people. Everyone is trying hard to compete. If they only took the time to look a little deeper, you'll find, I'll find.
So I guess we're on
You'll
now.
find that beauty is skin deep. It's not what you wear, it's just who you are.
Too, yeah.
If we're going far, then let's all be.
We have Frankie J. Welcome to the Hyper
Is it what we need?
And our
Is
guest
it what we need? So alibi. People need to be true to themselves. When will we?
Alrighty. So, there we go.
Yeah.
How you doing, bruv?
I'm doing really well. Yeah, it's good to see you. Really, really good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while, bro. It's been a while.
Yeah.
You know, crazy times. I mean, last time we were together, it was in Latvia. It was April last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, long time. Super long time.
Yeah. A lot of stuff happened in the meantime, but we here. So yeah, good to see you, man.
Yes.
And good to have you.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, as you know, we interview our guests from Hyper Week that we're supposed to teach this year.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, due to certain pandemics going on, we cannot do that at the moment. But we can do it like in an interview kind of setting.
Yes.
So just to start off with some topics that we're gonna discuss, and games that we're gonna play. We have a thing we call "My House is Your House," and I want to invite you to share one or two things of your morning workout routine.
Oh.
If you work out in the morning, or if you get up, or I don't know, if you do push-ups or some, I would like you to invite to get ready and show us what you got, bro. You know, this is not going to be a normal interview with me behind the microphone. So yeah, I give you a second to think about, like, what do you want to show us?
Okay.
What do you think is important for the people, you know, to add into their workout, maybe?
Yeah. Would you say like what I'm currently doing as a practice, or something that I have done before? Would you say?
Whatever you feel, bro. If you,
Okay.
Let's do the current one, like however
Alright.
you feel right now, and you let's go for that one. Show us what you got. You want some music on the background for it?
I don't even know if I'll need music. I'm still trying to consider what it is that I want to show.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you
Very good question.
stretch like all your fingers, or do you stretch all your toes? You know, in order
I rub
to
my face
get
like this,
those-
face massage. Wake it up,
Yeah.
wake the face up.
You know, do you hug all your dreads at once, like one at a time, give them all love and stuff? You know, I don't know what you do, bro. Everybody wants to know how you work out in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm going to be very honest to the people. I haven't been such, I would say, like an actively morning person. I mean, I have done, but like more for the having to be up to work, to do my thing, to be where I need to be kind of thing. Actively, I was like super on it, like sort of halfway through this sort of like year of this weird pandemic time, and I was going for morning runs, and also kind of set myself this kind of like physical conditioning sort of workout regime that I was doing as a way to kind of overcome my injuries, because I had a couple of injuries, and I was like, all right, I'm going to set myself this time and this agenda to focus on like healing my body and getting my body good, and just feeling a little bit fitter as well, because I felt like because of the injuries I didn't feel as like physically inept to how I usually am. So that was like one of my motivations, and I was doing a lot of conditioning, especially for like my hips. My hips were like something that I've struggled with for, I would say, for like a while now, because of just the range and the flexibility, and also just kind of what it was doing to my knees and things like this. I was like, okay, I can't let this happen, especially for how active I am and with all the stuff that I'm doing. I'm like, okay, I need to take care of myself. So yeah, so I was doing conditioning, I was stretching, I was building my stamina and my endurance, like many different things. But I would say as of recent, I've been quite lazy. Not lazy, but just like my motivation has been in like other things at the moment. So I've been actively doing a lot of roller skating recently.
I've seen roller skating. I was like, okay, for those who don't know, like roller skating is a key element to house dance. Like this is a part of the house dance culture.
Massive.
I never got into it myself, but well, when I was in elementary school, I think everybody had roller skates back then, but not in a dancing way. Like I was just managing to go as fast as I can, how to stop, but not like grooving and dancing the way you do.
And so it's such a fun process. Like it's been, for me, that's been like what I've been really kind of looking forward to and waking up to wanting to do. Like I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to have a coffee, I'm going to like wake my body up, and then I'm going to go, like if it's a nice day, I go outside, I'm like, I'm going to go skate. And like this has been like, if anything, the most refreshing sort of like mental and physical process that I've gone through as of recently, just because I think you probably experienced this yourself. Like I think for when you dance for so long and have been so actively involved in this community for so long, it's hard to find something that can equally like hit you in such a refreshing and inspirational way, yet be something completely different. Not completely different, but something that can take you off on another route that isn't directly correlated to the thing that we're so used to and experienced in. And I think like as much as roller skating is super involved with dance as well, and relatability wise the communities are quite similar, but at the same time I felt like I was going back into a community with like fresh eyes and being like a complete newbie for the first time, and it was like, this is great, and this opening up this huge kind of like world to me, so for me right now, I'm like super motivated. It's like super motivated to skate more, to get better, to also learn sort of like the sort of like awareness of like how the skills from dancing are really transferable into skating, and also vice versa, how skating is really helping my dancing, which it is like massively. And funnily enough, like I think condition wise, it's done like a lot of good for my body, because I feel really fit. Like the amount of work you have to do for skating is like, it's hardcore. So it's been really good.
I love hearing that, because well, my question was like, show us something, but you told us like everything. which if I'm going to give you a little wild card here, because I like the fact that you started roller skating, which is like exercising in a playful dancing way, right?
Massively.
I want to give to the people also who are going to watch this, if you train less but play more, then the training becomes less of an obstacle, right?
So, yes. Wow, that's a really good point. Like super good point. And I think like this, I think even during this year, like having a lot of time to really kind of self-reflect and really look at myself, process and all of the things that I'm involved in, this has been one of those things that has like risen to me. And this question of like, how much is this sort of like assumption of what training is how it keeps changing, or how we keep evolving what training really means to us, or that process of going through training, and very much so, like when you find this moment of finding the playfulness in it, and also not this kind of like regimented, I have to do this, I have to work on that, I have, like, because sometimes I think that kind of adds additional pressure to the whole process. And when you take that away and then find a way of being able to find that playfulness that then takes away those additional pressures, it's a win-win, because you're still practicing very much so in the same way you would usually, but there isn't this demand of expectations that comes with it in a certain way as well. You know?
So here comes my little wild card. So just stay on your seat. And show us at home how you roll your shoulders and use your neck movements to loosen up the upper part of the body. And while you do that, I just play some little music for you.
By its cover, 'cause you will discover some natural, psychological. Say we need, all we need, what we need.
Yeah, the power move is coming up. Yeah. Oh yeah, the hair swing, the hair.
Such a tune.
So basically, Frankie J is showing us here how you can like warm up and just ooze into your morning workout.
Yeah.
But just to good music. That's
Oh,
the key
man.
of life.
For
Damn,
real.
Thank you, bro.
For real.
Thank you for sharing this with us. Okay, so we're gonna do a few, how do you say, topics that will be like consisting out of like little fun games and stuff.
Yeah.
First, I'm gonna show you a dish, food related, and you have to guess where it's from. Boom!
Ooh. Oh, I think I know what this is.
Oh, here we go.
If I'm correct in saying this is a Turkish delicacy.
Okay, and what's the name, mister?
And I believe the name is baklava.
Woo!
Is that correct?
That is correct.
I actually really like these. They're actually really good. Yeah, they're like such a
sugar bombs.
Yeah, for real. For real.
It's good though. Alrighty. Okay, we're gonna do a thing called hit and answer. You ready?
Hit and answer. Okay. I'm ready.
So, fish and chips or tea and scones?
Ooh, fish and chips.
Love party or game night? This is Hyper Week related.
Oh, the party, for sure.
Beyonce or Rihanna?
Ooh, Beyonce.
Contemporary or quad skates?
Jeez. This is very, very, very difficult question. But I would say currently right now it has to be quad skates.
Yes, get you to the moment, bro. The sea or the mountains?
Ooh, mountains.
The Rolling Stones or the Beatles?
The Beatles.
Eating without limits or run fast as Usain Bolt?
Fast as Usain Bolt.
Pizza or granita?
Oh, pizza.
Feet or hands?
Ooh. Hands.
And this one is a little bit tricky. Mamson or capella? And you have to choose, bro.
Ah! Oh wow, this is very hard.
Take your time.
Oh, oh man, I think, to be honest, like, again, this goes not against anyone right now. I think Capella. I think, you know, me and him, we're super close. Not that me and Mamson aren't super close, but me and Capella, we're close. And he's like, we've been like collaborating so much over this time. And like especially over this year, and it's been really wonderful, like, yeah, doing stuff with him like this past year, just keep him busy, keeping things moving, and also what he's like doing right now is like, it's epic. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
but I love Mamson to death too.
Yeah, I do. We know. All right, this is a topic called Chinese portrait. And the first question is, if you were a historical figure, who would you be?
Oh, if I was a historical figure, who would I be? Damn, that's a very, very, very good question. I don't know why. I mean, maybe I should just go with the initial answer that pops into my head rather than like deeply think about it. But the first person that came to my head was Basquiat.
And why is that?
I think, generally speaking, I mean, for anyone that knows him, he's super iconic for his art. And I think generally the sort of mysteriousness of his character, and also like in also how that was portrayed in his art, and also like historically he's huge in the art world as well. But I think it's more on that basis of like his representation and what he stood for, and also the kind of like carefreeness that's in there in what it is that he represents himself as. And I guess like artistically he inspires me. Not that that's really to do with the relation of the historical context, but he is history. But there is so much context to him that I feel like is relatable.
Nice. I like it. Next question is, choose your favorite animal and describe it.
Ooh, okay. This one's easy for me.
Okay.
So I think I have to go with the spirit animal, which is on my arm here, which is the fox.
Ooh.
And I think for me, the power of the fox is a totem animal, and is a very powerful animal in a lot of senses, and is a nocturnal animal, which for me really kind of plays to my whole sort of like, I'm such a night owl. Like, I like to be up at night. And I feel like my sort of creativity and productiveness comes a lot when it's at night. Like, that's when I'm most like actively involved in stuff and doing things that I feel like are productive, and I feel like that really relates to that animal trait. And the fox is mysterious. It's quite cunning. The fox has a very cunning personality, and it's very smart and intelligent. And I feel like it's also quite underestimated, because I think like foxes for most people that live in the cities and sometimes in the countries as well, like they can be seen as quite quite dirty and quite like scavengers. But actually there is such a beautiful background to where foxes, again, in their natural habitat come from, and they are like super amazing animals, super intelligent, can be domesticated, can also obviously live wild. They are wild animals, but you know, they're individual as well. Like they're very independent. There we go. They're very independent animals, and I feel like that's a real reflection of my own character. I've always been extremely independent, but not to the point where it also doesn't take away the fact that I need the pack to also move with as well, you know. But like, they're strong when they're on their own as well. And I've always been intrigued by the fox and their red hair. Hey. I love their red hair, you know. But yeah, like, I've always been intrigued by the animal, and like, I don't know if this is just some sort of like, I don't know, telepathy or something, but every time I encounter a fox, or not every time, but most times when I've encountered a fox, they've always sat down for me. Like they don't just run off. Like, they take some time to kind of witness me, and I feel like there's I feel like at that time I'm sort of connecting with it, and then it decides to just walk off or like go off to where it needs to be and doesn't hurry and panic, because most of them do. But I feel like there's something where I feel like animals can really read energy super, super, super well because their senses are super high.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you give a warm and comforting energy to an animal that is probably going to be fearful of you, they can receive it and feel it well. And I feel like that's what I do every time with it. So
everything has to do with those vibes, bro. I bet that fox, when
everything has to do with the vibe.
when he sees you, he'll be like, man, this just a bro beastie from another species. But I see. Yeah, nice. All right, next question, bro. Which invention would you like to have discovered?
Oh, I think it would have to be the boombox. Or like the first musical device that could play music, like
right, that emits sound
electronically. Yeah, like
Nice.
that would have been epic. I don't know who made the first radio or
because
speaker.
I don't know what you're gonna answer, so I don't know the answer to that. It's a good question though, but
yeah, and just like what sort of impact that would have had when, you know, being that first person to receive sound electronically out of a speaker, it must have been epic. And imagining it being like a speaker that was in a club or something, like how amazingly powerful that would have been. Like, yeah, on like, I can only just imagine it on like some huge like dub system, like these huge speakers, and just the first time sound just coming out of that, it would have just been epic.
I bet the first invention was something like and I was like, oh man,
how
this is amazing. I need to enlarge these with you know? Yeah, but nice one. Yeah, I can relate to that one. I think I would want to invent something similar.
Yeah, I think that would be mine.
The final question for the Chinese portrait is, which actor would you like to be?
Oh, which actor would I like to be? Who am I a fan of?
I don't want to project anything onto you, but I see like a Keanu Reeves kind of.
Wow, yo, that's really spot on. Wow, like how did I'm asking you a question. How did you come up with that?
Well, consider your spirit animal. I think Keanu has this sort of kind of feel.
That's really crazy. He didn't pop into my head initially, but now that you said that, I probably would go with Keanu, because also I really like what he stands for as a regular person. Yeah. And also like there's a lot of his philosophies and stuff that I've come across, which I'm like, yo, this guy is really cool and like really grounded and really also very honest. Like I feel like there's a sense of realism that comes with him, because I feel like also acting, I think like for some actors or actresses, it's very difficult to come out of that character or that role at times and also understand their self. Because they're constantly embodying other roles all the time, you know. But with him, I feel like he's very grounded and very distinguished in his own self, which makes it very easy for him to come in and out of his character. And actually, it's funny. The other day I was watching John Wick 3, Parabellum, which is, you know, and like, and I love those films, like the films he's in, and it's quite like the one thing I do find really funny about his characters is, ever since he did Matrix, it was just like, I just see that same character, like just roll on into all the films. But with him, it's so good though. I like the fact that there is that kind of relatability in the films, you know, like and I feel like he's just a really genuinely nice guy as well, which is always for me really attractive in getting to wanting to know someone better, and also just kind of appreciating what they're doing in their craft. You know?
I read some stuff about his background. You know, he has pretty harsh background. Where he comes from, and you know what's funny about the You know who was initiatively asked for the role of Neo in The Matrix?
No.
Will Smith.
What?
I know, right? I cannot imagine Will Smith being
Yo,
Neo.
yeah, yeah.
Or, you
That
know,
just no, yeah.
the reason why Will Smith didn't took the part is that he did Wild Wild West.
That was at the same time.
Sort of.
Wow, damn,
I mean,
okay.
looking at the whole Matrix franchise, like if I would be Will Smith, I was like, damn.
Right. Compared to Wild Wild West.
Yeah, right. So yeah, man.
Shit, I lost out.
All right, Bill. Next, we're gonna arrive at the Hyper Week part. Now,
Okay.
what's the first thing that pops into your mind when you think about Hyper Week?
I think so. What I'm gonna try and do is pretend I haven't been yet to answer that, because I think I always wanted to wonder what Hyper Week would be like before I had the experience to go. And I think from what I gathered was that I think location-wise, it was just like, this is going to be like dream-like. Like the location looks beautiful. It's just going to feel like a holiday. It's just going to be, yeah, just a wonderful tropical experience. And I feel like tropical is a great word to use. I feel like if Hyper Week for me is this kind of like, yeah, tropicalness, you know, tropicalness. And yeah, just from what I got to witness before I went there was like by a video and photographs was just like, yeah, it was just warm. And I didn't mean like by the weather, but just warm as in like the energies and the people and the community that is that you could feel that through the video, you could feel that through the photos, you could feel all of those things that just you would only assume that you could feel when you're there in person. But I felt like that was already there coming through the content that was being put out, and it already made me feel like, yeah, I really want to go to this event one day. I really want to visit Hyper Week, you know.
Nice.
Yeah,
too bad that this year
super sad
happened. Yeah, the year 2020 is
year 2020.
Yeah, what I can say about Hyper Week is that I've been through a lot of, events and camps as well.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm gonna say this because I work with BJD, is because of the intimacy of the camp. Like Christina, as the founder of the BJD, she does not want to lose its intimacy, so she doesn't want to expand the people in numbers.
Yeah.
Plus the location where we are in Catania it works its magic, you know.
Yeah. Completely. I feel like this look into making sure, like, the intimacy is still kept, I think is extremely important. And I feel like events that really do take that time to consider those things, which I think sometimes, for some organizers, it kind of like slips over the top of their heads, like to really realize the importance of like having a certain amount of numbers there, that only that certain amount of number is going to create that particular vibe. And once it gets past that, it then turns into something else. Yeah, it's the same event, but the vibe and the feel gets completely altered and gets changed, and that's a massive thing that is either going to really not make or break. I don't like to say that, but like it's either going to really make the event, or it's just going to be something else afterwards if it's not that.
True. Word up. So let's play an imaginary game. So you're in Hyper Week.
Okay.
So the location is nice. Your classes are, everybody loves the class. And what would your ideal camp be like? I can confirm, like, okay, we have that. No, we don't have that. What we do have this. And so what would you like to add to Hyper Week? As in, I think this would be nice in my ideal camp to have. besides the classes and the parties and the beach and food?
You know, the first thing that came into my head was like, make it longer. One
Make
week
it longer.
extra.
An extra week. Okay. Fair enough.
Call it, instead of hyper week, hyper weeks.
Hyper month.
Hyper
right.
month.
Yeah.
But no, really, like, I mean, that in itself is why it is, for me, just epic. Like, it's just not long enough, even though it's an amazing time in the time that I'm there, but it's just like, it's never enough because it's so good, you know? But I think, I don't know, it's a really good question. I feel like Hyperweek really goes out of their way to really fulfill so many elements, which an event should really fulfill. There's not really anything I feel like it's truly missing, not from the experience I've had so far. Yeah, it's funny. I really actually do that. Maybe that is my answer. Maybe it is. I would love for Hyper Week to be extended, or you know, to have that experience of being extended. Because I think you know, also like what Hyper Week really does do, which I haven't mentioned yet, is like, as much as it is about the training and the process that you have when you're there, taking the workshops and being involved with all the meetings and you know, all the things that are happening with the students and the professionals that are there, like, there's this element that it still teaches people to also keep a sense of like social and lax approach to their process. Like, it's not serious, like it's not too serious at the same time, and that's really important for, I think, because also, like, I've gone to a lot of events where there's so much seriousness like put into the thing that you can't almost enjoy yourself, because it's really about, oh, I have to do this, or I've got to battle and I've got to take classes, and as much as that is, it can be super exciting for people, at the same time I know for a certain audience it's not always about doing dance and being super serious and battling and competing and taking classes all the time. You know, it's also about being able to be social and to spend good, loving, exciting times with the people that you're there with, and to have that moment of just being on the beach, or just being in the pool, or going for a walk, or, you know, just because like it sometimes this dance stuff can take us out of that, and we kind of forget that socialness, that again, this is what this is all about. That bonds
us.
That bonds us, exactly. And yeah, Hyper Week, I feel, are really great advocates, and I think because of the space that it's in, it really does represents itself in that quality.
Nice put in words, bro. Thanks. Okay, we're gonna do a little game again. So I have to share my screen for this one.
Okay.
Let's see. Screen sharing's on. Boom. All right. We have a few locations, and it's gonna be a memory. What is the location? What you see right here?
Well, I can see the big welcome sign. So
where is it located?
I mean, that's a very good question. You know what? I'm actually not too sure where that's exactly located.
So palm trees, and you see someone sitting there on a bench.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to take a wild guess, but I would assume this is like the entrance to the, like, I don't even remember the name of it. What's it called? There's a name for the things out there.
Yep.
Alongside that road.
Yep.
What's the name?
I
want to say pontoon, but it's not pontoon.
No, bro, we don't know that. No. Does the let me help you with the first one.
Lido, is it Lido?
Yes. Lido.
Lido, that's it. Yeah,
and there's like a little word behind it. Lido.
Dang, Lido.
Jolly.
Lido Jolly.
Lido Jolly. Yes.
I was close. I don't know why I said pontoon, because you know pontoon is like a similar thing as a Lido. It's very
Ah,
similar. That's why I had pontoon in my head. But
okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. What's where do you see this?
I want to say no, it can't be though. I was gonna say first. This is the seating area in one of the stages. Like,
Which studio?
but which studio? This studio.
Is it Studio One or Studio Two?
This one is. Damn. This is Studio One. I feel.
I have to double check myself. I think this one is Studio Two with the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the one with the pool.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, you close. So, what is this? Where do you
Okay,
see this?
this I can't remember at all. I'm guessing. Oh no, I do actually. I think this is by the bar area on the beach. No,
Yeah,
it's
but
like where it's near where the event took place.
yes and no, because it
Uh,
okay. It's this one is a little bit tricky because it moves a lot.
uh
we bring it back and forth. So
multi-location.
I cannot say you're wrong, but when you see this person, like, I think she's posing.
Yeah,
Where do
I
you
guess I'm guessing it's like a photograph backdrop.
right, but the backdrop, where is it? Where is it
Yeah,
placed?
where is this backdrop placed?
What
Okay, again,
people?
I'm gonna guess where this one is placed, but I'm assuming it's outside Studio One.
It's at the reception when you come and get the key
Really?
for your rooms in La Cucaracha.
Oh no, yeah, that's
It's the photo
I don't remember
panel
that. Yeah,
reception.
that I don't remember at all.
That's all good, bro. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Do I have
Damn.
more pictures? Yes. Oh, this one. Easy.
Oh yeah, this one's by Studio Two,
Yeah.
by the pool.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah, I remember this one really well.
There, you, there we go.
That was the spot. Studio Two was the spot.
Yeah. Nice done, bro. Nicely done. Alrighty. Now we have to get serious. This topic is called Let's Get Serious.
Oh, okay.
Name your house dancers top 3.
Jeez.
I don't know, it's like I'm
And
happy to not
would
be
you
in your
is-
place right now.
would this be like open as in not coming from a certain angle, just generally my top 3?
Yes.
Generally the top 3. Wow. Yeah, this is extremely difficult. Okay, I think yeah, I'm gonna explain my reasons. Even though like in reality I don't have really a top 3, but if I was to have, and again I think my top 3 has no order. These are just 3 people I think really speak a lot to me because of generally the history and experience maybe I have with these people, and also generally their artistic journey and approach that I've always felt very close to, and felt also really kind of like relative to as well, in asides to also like my own personal journey. And I think one of the first people I will mention would have to be Tony McGregor. And I speak, I guess, on personal experiences with him because I consider him as one of my mentors, and is one of the guys I very closely learned from, and also built a really close relationship with many years ago, and is someone that has continuously and still to today has always kept a kind of overwatch over my progression, and has always seen kind of where I've gone and grown with the dance. And he reached out to me as well on a level of like, he could see that I really wanted to learn, and that I was wanting to put the effort and the work in. And this was actually 5 years ago when I first like I was kind of living temporarily in New York for a little bit. I went to visit New York and spent quite a bit of time out there, and he was one of the guys that literally put his arm out and was just like, hey, I'm going to work with you, I'm going to do this with you, let's build, kind of thing. And I was just like, wow, like, and I super appreciated it, because I guess, you know, not a lot of people have that opportunity to have someone like reach out in that kind of way and just be of service, basically, to want to teach and share. And I guess, like, I really respected that, and I put that work in, and really wanted to prove my thanks to him for doing that for me. And so, yeah, like, and also just like when it comes to his movement and his approach, I feel that there's a lot in his dance that really kind of personally speaks to me. And he's an amazing dancer, an amazing teacher. And yeah, again, there's not much else to it than that, but like, just someone that I can definitely say, like, there's been a lot there for me from him that has helped me get to and progress to where I've got to so far in my journey.
Nice.
Another one would probably be, damn, this is so hard. I have so many. I have so many.
Don't make it too hard on yourself. I mean, it's like top three doesn't mean like these are the only three people that I really like.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You can make it like favorite or like really inspiring. I don't know, like, you don't have to.
Yeah, massively. I would say also like Toyin definitely has played a huge impact and role in my dance. I would be in denial if I didn't. Like, me and her, we also go through, we've been through such an amazing journey together. She was my partner, she is my ex-partner. And just in the time, even before we were together as well, like, I have to consider her as being someone that was very much an inspirational figure for me. Yes. In my movement, and then the journey we spent together, we battled together, we built together. I learned a lot from her, and I think one of the key things and the key elements that I would say that she really helped me to tap into with my dance was a sense of individuality, and also how to harness your power. If I was to say, like, that's and what I mean by that, like, harnessing your power is to understand, to harness and understand yourself, and how that keeps empowering your movement. And this goes beyond the context of how we perceive these dance styles to be from just a generic level, meaning, like, you know, when you learn your foundation, you learn your moves, you learn your vocabulary, you learn these things. But how do you like, you personally go beyond those things in order for those things to harmonize with your character, with your personality, with your experiences, with your culture, with your, you know, all of these elements that play such a role in devising and developing this sense of individuality as an artist and as a dancer. Right. And she was one of the people that really made me, like, become way more aware of that. And I feel like she expresses that in her dance massively. She's someone that is very much in tune with herself, and knows how to bring those things out on demand when she wants to. And I think that's extremely difficult. I don't think that's an easy attribute for many dancers to have that demand of being like, I want to activate this, I want to do this now, I want to, like, to bring these elements out and know how to deliver those things. And that's a skill, I think, that you can't really be taught. That's something that you can be guided in and mentored in, and again, learn how you're following your heart and how you're following your sense of feel and desires in your dance. And this is a quality she most definitely assisted me in really being able to kind of like attach myself into, or start to, like, open up, you know. And for those reasons, you know, she's a beautiful mover, you know. She's an amazing artist, and I only see honesty in her movement. So yeah, so like for that reason alone, she's definitely up there for me. And then number 3. Who is up there for me? That was an internal scream.
I heard it. I felt it.
Yeah.
We can also keep it with the top 2. It's fine. You know, it's okay. It's just a question, bro.
It's so deep. Such a deep question. Yeah. I mean, there is so many.
I
yeah.
know. Let's.
There is just so
the-
many. Yeah.
The third, like there are so many.
Yeah, third is so many, but
So
yeah,
many.
I mean, I think you know, like Tony and Toyin, the 2 T's.
Right.
They yeah, there's just a lot with those 2 in particular that I could never deny what they've given to me and what they also give to the community in
Right.
how they deliver themselves in the dance that they do, and for me personally, knowing what their intentions and reasons are in their movement, and I feel like that's an important thing that I don't always receive from every dancer that I come across, you know, like to know their reasons for why they move and to know to know the story behind why they do what they do in the moment that they're doing it. And this is always kind of like being something that I've tried to aspire to myself in, like when I get down, when I throw down, or when I'm dancing, like what is the intention and what is the reason behind it, rather than it just being always for this kind of like, I don't know, just this kind of just emptiness of just doing, yeah, I'm dancing house, ha ha ha. But
Right.
like, you know, like what is the real fulfillment in why I do this? And those are just 2 figures that have always taught me about those values and to find the valuability in why I do this thing.
Nice, bro. Yeah, I can say no more. I cannot add anything more beautiful than what you just said. So, what is your opinion on the house scene nowadays?
Wow. Yeah, I feel like I guess it kind of continues into what I was just saying before. Like I feel there's this thing of how house dance is kind of like moving, or I mean, like with all dance styles, it goes through emotion. It goes through emotion of trends, and it goes through emotion of like different things. And I feel like what happens with that is you kind of learn to follow it, or you learn not to follow it. And I guess like I used to be, let's say, someone who would like follow sort of the wave of how the trends and the movements were changing and adapting. But then at the same time, like I feel like now where I am with myself and with my dance, that I don't tend to really do that now. I'm very, very into like trying to really harness and feel what it is that I'm feeling in the moment that I do it, or that I'm having it, and to really ride that out so I can really fulfill myself. Yeah, fulfill myself for myself, because I wasn't doing that a lot with my dance. Before, I felt like it was always this thing of like, I have to keep giving out to the people, to my audience, to the competition, to this, to that, and I was becoming empty because I felt like there was always this need to keep putting out. And I feel like house dance, in the way sometimes that I view it and see it, is a little bit like this. And I say that because like most people know me through the competitive scene. Most people know me through the competitive house dance community. But again, like my love for this dance and for this music didn't really come at all through the competitive circuit at all. And again, this is a point I'll make in a second, but like I learned about this dance and this music via, well, more the music. I learned the music through my parents, and it was something that I grew up on. My dad was a electronic music DJ. My mum was a raver. So like, you know, these were the things that helped me to really instill and harmonize my understanding of why I really love this music.
Right.
And actually that is my real reason why I do this dance, is because I actually love this music.
Right.
And one of the things I feel like I see is that there's dancers not really being honest to that. Like I see dancers trying to learn house or learn hip hop or learn Vogue or learn whacking or learn, you know, whatever style of dance. And I feel like they're learning it for not the real reason of just actually loving the music that they're actually dancing on.
Right.
And you can see it, I can read it and see it in people's movement when I'm like, they're not really about this music.
Yeah.
And it's okay to not be into that music. And I feel like they're picking other reasons to be involved in that movement. But then I ask the question of like, but do you want to continue doing that? Does that really fulfill you?
Yeah.
And sometimes I see this in the house dance community, especially with a lot of younger cats, because the competitive scene is like, it's exciting, you know. They see their favorite dancers getting down, they see the sort of like glamour, glitz and showbiz that can kind of sometimes come with being people that win events and do this, and you know, they start judging, they start traveling, they start teaching all over the place, and it looks glamorous, like, absolutely, because I know how that is. I remember being on that side being like, oh, that looks amazing, I wish one day I wish I can do that. And you know, now being on that perspective, having that opportunity to do those things, which it's beautiful, it's an amazing, lucky, I feel so privileged that so many people love what I do. Like, I count my blessings every day that so many people like the way I dance and the way that I teach and the way that I share what I know. But at the same time, you know, like, what's also been a massive benefactor to that is that I love this music and I love this culture and I love what it all encompasses. And sometimes I feel like dancers aren't being really responsible in making those choices for themselves and those reasons for doing the movement. And that's why sometimes I see a lot of dancers kind of peak, or they sort of like start to plateau, because there's not that real sense of connection to why they're really doing it. And I know for me, like, that's the difference. I know for me, I'm going to be doing this dance and loving this music forever, for as long as I can continue to do this, because I loved this music before I even knew what house dance was. And what I mean by house dance, I mean by like the New York style of house dance, you know, like growing up in the...
There's a little question coming into with the New York style, because we have certain different styles of house music, right? And you also answered another question of mine, which was the question was, what should be the goal of a dancer? But you already like said that basically. But then what are the main differences between New York house, Chicago house, and Johannesburg house?
Right.
For you?
Yeah, so for me, again, like the thing that kind of sits on top of it is culture.
Right.
Depending how you grow up, depending on where and the environment and the scenario that this music is made in, is going to affect the output of what that music then speaks.
Yes, definitely.
And most definitely, again, within our community here, most people again make the assumption that house dance is only and entirely from New York, which, again, this is just my opinion. People can say they agree or not, but I don't believe so. I really don't believe so, that this, again, movement only stems from just one place. Yeah, it built its reputation, it built its sort of like formalities and, again, technicalities from this certain place. But this music was so widespread in so many different areas and so many different cultures and so many different countries, you know, like that we would be in denial of the influences that also play a huge role in how house dance or house music is perceived to as today. And I speak for that, you know, on a massive personal level, because of where I come from in the UK. Like London, Manchester, the UK plays such a pinnacle role in the development of electronic music, hence why you have things like drum and bass, garage, not techno, but like drum and bass, garage, two-step, broken beat, you know, like all of these other things that UK was like, oh, we're taking that, we're going to eat this up and go and give something else, you know, like this was all of the stuff that I grew up on. Like, I really grew up on this music, and we had our own dances. We had our own social ways of moving with one another. We had skanking, we had shuffling, we had cutting shapes, we had all this like massive historical things that just get lost because we make the assumption that, again, these movements and these dances only come from one specific place or certain places. And don't get it twisted. Exactly. Like this, and this doesn't take anything away from New York. Like, because the conversations I've had with people on this particular topic is they assume like I'm trying to take or like try to kind of like tarnish New York's name. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying, because I've gone to New York and I've danced in New York and I've learned New York as a way to empower what I also know from myself. Because if I don't do that, then I'm doing a disjustice to my own dance, to my own.
You were not all born in New York.
Exactly. Why would I be trying to dance like a New Yorker if I'm not there, if I'm not from there? You know, like I'm like harnessing what comes from New York and what I've learned from New Yorkers, but I need to harness what comes from me. I need to harness what comes from my culture, what comes from, you know, all of those things as a way to create that language for myself. And again, that's also another reason as to why I've got to the places that I've got to so far with my dance, because I'm learning to not ignore that part of my learning experience in this dance and in this movement. And, you know, by all means, not everyone is going to agree to that. I know there's house dancers that are like, it's only about New York. If you're not doing New York, then, and that's okay. If you want to do that, that's all on you, you know. But like, so I gotta, you know, I say it to people, I'm like, ask yourself the question, like, if you're not learning, like if you're not from New York and you're from somewhere else, but you know, you are in love with this music, or you are passionate about this music and this movement, what injustices are you doing to yourself if you're not allowing those things that come from you specifically to passively be ingrained into your process, or to be ingrained into your learning experience of this dance? Because if you don't do that, you're not really learning, again, the full extent of what this music can really do for you.
Amen.
Because, you know, because this music is about freedom, it's about liberation, it's about culture, it's about identity, it's about all of these amazing, beautiful, wonderful things. And again, going back to the roots of where this music comes from, it comes from that representation. It comes from a group of people that were all about liberation, freedom, speaking their rights, you know, like all of this. It says it in the music. This music speaks for itself, you know. And for me, like, why do you have music like that and then talk about a dance that then sounds so contradicted to the music? You know, if you're not being free in your dance, if you're not being liberated in your dance, if you're not, you know, like expressing yourself fully, your voice and what it is that you're telling from you, then are you really dancing house? Are you really like doing house dance? Do you know what I mean?
Welcome to the spiritual podcast of Hyper Week. Today we have Frankie J spitting out some bombs of truth. Man, I like, yeah. What else can I say, man? I can only say, like, this is one of my favorite quotes. Like, you know the truth when you feel it, and anything you just said, like, I can 100% identify myself growing up in the scene and being where I am at right now. It's like, yeah, man. And just a fun fact for the people that are still tuned in. And this is not live, by the way, but they're gonna.
But just from tune in, start coming in.
Like, I recall the first time that I saw you in person was I was in Cardiff.
Yes. Oh wow. Yes.
2012,
it was.
I guess.
Yeah, 8 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and what a lot of youngsters don't know, and what I want to share from me to them, is that this guy right here, Frankie J, as well as he's dancing house, as well as he is embodying this music, he can as well embody funk, as in I've seen him locking and popping, and I could have swear like, oh, this guy is a locker, or this guy is a popper. No, this guy dances only hip hop. No, he can do whacking too. No, he votes. No, man, he can really. People don't know, bro. Like, people that, you know, admire you as the house, you know, the red dread house head you are. You dance like. Yeah. You dance, right?
That's always been my epitome of like how I represent myself. I've never called myself a house dancer. Like
No,
that's
people
something.
don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
Like this
yeah.
guy nails like every style or every. No, no, no. Let's put it like this. He embodies every genre of music that you throw at him. Like if you put on some funk music, like he will funk it up. You know, he dances real funky. If you put on some G funk, he will be straight up G on your ass. Like this is how I met him, and this is 8 years ago. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's like
Yeah,
way
music is
back.
music for me. And I think I even kind of express that in my own sort of like musical listening choices as well. Like if I like the song, I like the song. Like
Right, right.
I'm not I'm not boxed
Yeah,
in just again, and I feel like this is something that is affecting sometimes the younger generation that are stepping into these forms, that they feel that they can only, I talked about this to someone earlier today, funnily enough, and it's really ironic. But
right.
I feel like this. Have you ever heard this quote, like "Jack of all trades or master of one"?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Heard it.
And I feel like as much as people use it so much, I've heard people use this so much. I feel like it's a really damaging sentence. Like I feel like it's a really damaging quote at times, because I've never been someone to think that if you have your foot or your hand in multiple different things, that your level is only going to be at a certain point with all of those things. I've never been a believer of that. I'm like, that's the most rubbish I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Like,
bro. I
it's,
flipped. I flipped this
yeah,
because like I can identify myself with you a lot
yeah,
as a dancer because there was a certain era time era where I was considered to be a Vogue dancer. That, and then at Funkin' Styles, people found out in that like he can do much more than just that, because I did all that before I started voguing. So the jack of all trades, master of none. Like I was like, but I am a jack of all trades. And then later I flipped this phrase into I'm the master of myself, which makes me a jack of all trades. So if there is something that I master, it's the self.
yes, that's exactly
So
it.
that's
Boom.
how I flipped that shit, because I was
Yeah,
like, but it really sounds how do you say, demotivating if you
yes,
say this to people,
that's
like
right.
as if they cannot level up from
Yeah, yeah.
within.
It limits them. It automatically limits
Exactly.
them straight away. It's like you have to make that ultimatum decision, and it's like it's
Yeah.
you know,
So I'm really yeah, I can totally relate to that
yeah,
what you say, bro. I heard it a lot of time.
yeah.
uh,
This
from
is this, if anything, like, and I would really probably imagine it's exactly the same for you. Is harnessing and mastering that self
Mhm.
is what's going to make that one thing then you are considered to be affiliated with
Yes.
so good.
Ex
That's why people assume like I am a house dancer because of how good I am in it, and it's not that. Like it's like my experience goes way beyond house, like way
and
beyond.
that's when I say, like,
Yeah.
when I throw some funk music at this guy, he will embody it fully. So you will believe, like, whoa, he really, what? But this is exactly
Yeah,
what I mean.
yeah,
This is what I saw already, like 8 years ago. Before we even started dancing together or working
right,
together, like
right.
it was already, yeah, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, jack of all trades, master of the self. That's it. Yeah, well, bro, there's one final question that I think you also
Okay.
already answered, which is, what would you like to leave in this world?
Whew. Um, I would like to leave just a message, and I guess just a lineage of things that can be aspiring to people who want to follow same suit. And I don't like to put too much pressure on myself to feel like I have to meet certain demands or
Right.
certain expectations of myself. But I feel like the way I'm living right now and how I'm enjoying myself right now with the processes that I'm going through is that I move with flow. I go through life with flow, and I really enjoy that right now. And I feel like if I can inspire people around me to do the same, to harness self and to really practice self and to be fully honest in self, in everything that they're applying themselves in, whether it's dance related or not, you know, like to know that you're doing that with an honest choice and to commit to that 100%, you know, to make commitments and choices and honesty in everything that you do, because I'm trying to do that myself. I'm learning how to do that more and more with myself, and I really hope that I can be someone that can inspire someone else to do the same, you know, like, because I know there are many people that have reached out to me before on a dance level, but also not on a dance level, that find that there are things that can be valuable to them that they've seen me go through. And that's really lovely to hear from people as a feedback, in because sometimes I feel like we can individually feel quite lonely in the things that we go through. Right. Yet there is so many of us on this planet, and so many within us, so many of us in our communities that, funnily enough, are going through exactly the same. And we tend to forget that, essentially, right. You know. And I just want to be, if I can, be a reminder to people that you're not alone. Like, as much as, again, going to that kind of like glitz and glamour quote that I said earlier, it's like, yeah, life may look like that for me sometimes, you know what? And it can be, and it's fantastic. But at the same time, I'm extremely human in all of this too, and have my ups and downs in this all. And I want to remind people, like, you can be great, and you will be great, even if you go through your ups and downs and go through literally being at the bottom of the bottom, you know, like, you can still be great. You still are great when you're at the bottom. But it's to know and to empower people around me to keep their, you know, to keep reminding, to keep their chins up, to keep their heads up, to keep persevering, to keep moving forward, because I have people like that around me, and that's what's also got me to where I am, and is constantly pushing me. So if I can be just another attachment onto that and follow those same people and help people attach themselves to that, then, you know, by all means, that's really what I would love to be able to leave, you know, to inspire people, just to keep inspiring.
Thank you so much, Frankie. This was such a lovely, wonderful talk. Man, this was not even an interview. It's like, yeah, right. Said, it just flowed. And,
yeah.
And it's inspiring to hear, you know. It's inspiring in the way that I can identify myself in a lot of things you said. So
thank you. Yeah. It
feels like I'm on the right track. So thank you for that confirmation. I really like that. So thank you, bro, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Lovely seeing you, you know.
Yeah, really good to see you.
Yeah, man. Like I said, people, we go way back. So this is Frankie. Frankie J, all the way from the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh yeah. We leave on a good note. Yeah. You know, I normally these interviews should not be able to like last long. I'm like, I think I'll get my butt kicked later, but it was worth it. Every second of it was worth it. You needed to hear what you had to share, you know. So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure. I really hope everyone who's watching has enjoyed their time listening to us, and yeah, I definitely can't wait to see you all guys soon.
Yeah,
definitely.
Next year,
yeah,
we'll be back in full effect, and we are able to connect in the flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was wonderful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and sending lots of love.
Yeah.
Thank you.